Well, guys, I got some bad news. There are just some terrible stocks out there to own, and unfortunately, many of these are retail favorites. And to make it even worse, a lot of folks think these stocks are actually kind of cheap right now, but nothing could be further from the truth. So, guys, I got to be honest with you, it's just one of those videos where we're going to have to, get into these stocks. You may own some of them, and you seriously need to consider whether or not you want to continue to own those stocks or not. So hopefully I can help you guys out with that today. And obviously like the video if you like me trying to help you guys out with some of these stock picks. And I'm sorry if some people get upset. Go ahead, blast me down in the comments. Totally cool with that. But I got to be honest and upfront with you guys, especially when I see a lot of comments in my comment section asking about these various stocks and are they a buy now because they're really cheap or whatever the case is. Guys, we got to get down to that point where just because they're cheap doesn't mean they're actually a good deal on a stock. So just remember, there's no judgment here. Nobody else. I mean, Warren Buffett has bad picks. Obviously, I have lots of bad picks. Any other YouTuber out there has lots of bad picks. And everybody out there has bad picks if you've been investing for any length of time. So just ignore that garbage if somebody says they don't. Yeah, they do at some point in time if they've been investing in any length of time. And the biggest discount ever for my group goes live this weekend. So make sure you're on the lookout for that when that releases, because man, when those spots are gone, they're gone forever. But I'll release that this weekend. You guys will see it and you can jump all over that. So stock number one is Plug Power. And guys, yeah, you can look right up here in this video. I kind of deep dove this stock a little bit more in that video, but here's kind of the bottom line with why I personally want nothing to do with this stock. I don't care what price it's at. And it's the simple fact that they have managed to actually increase revenues quarter over quarter over quarter now for several years. They've done a great job of growing revenue. The problem is the more they grow the revenue, the bigger the losses become. So their profitability actually gets worse the more that they increase their revenue, which that is a terrible, terrible business model, especially a stock as mature and a company as mature as Plug Power is. They should be on that other curve to where they're seeing their profitability get closer and closer and closer to turning positive. Not going the exact opposite direction there with really no end in sight. Add in the fact they're almost out of cash to operate altogether, and that is just a disaster recipe for either bankruptcy or share dilution, or both of them end up happening at that point in time. So for me, there's so many other great stocks out there on great discounts right now. I have no reason to even throw a flyer amount of money at this thing because it's just not worth it, guys. You're just gambling at this stage. There's no reason to gamble, especially in this type of market with so many other great stocks out there for you to buy that are on discount right now, companies that are actually going to make it, going to turn profit or already are profitable and are just sitting at a nice 52-week low or on a nice discount. So I don't know what the play here is, guys, but I got a lot of folks asking about it before I made that video. I got a lot of folks after that video or in that video asking, hey, are you sure? Are you sure you're not talking about another stock or something else like that? No, guys, it's Plug Power, and I'm staying far, far away. So stock number two is any legacy automaker out there here in the US. I know we've talked about this one before, but I just consistently get folks asking about these stocks. Should they own them? Is it cheap enough now? What's going on with these stocks? And a whole lot of other narratives like that. And here's the bottom line with Legacy Auto. Their financials are terrible. They are trading at a PE of what? 4, under 4 in some cases, depending upon which one you're looking at. Very, very low PEs. And yet their dividend payout, which you figure if it's trading that cheap would be really, really nice. They're just not that great. They're in the 1s and the 2s. I mean, they're just not great dividend stocks either. So I don't see the point in owning those. There's no way they can actually have their financials get better. And obviously with the union deal, which of course means they can finally start working again, but it still means more money is coming out of their pockets than was before. So they were in bad shape before. They're going to be even worse shape afterwards. And oh, by the way, interest rates being high, with automakers being cyclical in nature, that means there's a lot more pain coming for these companies over the next year or so until we get some sort of relief with interest rates. And even then, how much is that really going to help them in regards to their bottom line? I'm not sure it helps them nearly as much as everybody else is projecting out there. So I didn't like automakers way back in early 2000s. I don't like them now. I've never really liked them. Maybe there's a trade there. I have no idea. You guys out there that are traders, maybe you guys tell me down in the comments. But for me, as a long-term buy and hold investor, I want nothing to do with Legacy Auto, regardless of what, rabbits they pull out of the hat or anything else. So stock number 3 is Workhorse. And guys, this is the one that we really haven't talked about in a long time. And boy, the last time I spoke out about Workhorse, I sure got destroyed down in the comments because how could I think they're not going to get the USPS contract? It's in the bag, right? And oh, by the way, owning a business that's dependent upon one contract and one contract only for any growth is also a great idea, apparently, in some cases. But as we've seen, there just isn't a lot there for Workhorse. I kind of like the idea. I like what they're trying to do. But for me personally, when I look at this, there's no real TAM there. There's no real market there for this in terms of justifying the large valuations that it got before. So remember, just because a company, can fit a niche, just because it can be a small player in a space does not mean I need to own the stock and it's a great stock for me to own and it should, command this crazy valuation. It's kind of like Peloton and some of the other stocks like that caught fire when it's like, okay, what's the business model there? It just didn't make any sense from a business standpoint. It's a great product, it's a great niche product, but that doesn't make it a great stock, and especially one you want to own long term with huge growth over the long run. So for me, I'm staying far, far away from Workhorse. So stock number 4 is solar companies. And I know I've spoken out against solar before and I got blasted for it, of course, the usual thing that kind of happens there with these things. But hey, if Tesla can't sell solar and we're having high interest rates, and there's a lot of other factors, are we going to have the same, mix in Congress, next year after all the election cycles and everything else kind of plays through that we have right now, to where a lot of these credits and a lot of the other things that keep people in solar or actually make it available for people, a lot of those credits going to continue into the future. That's a big unknown there. And add in the fact that, again, it's a high interest rate environment right now. I don't see that changing in the next year, at least. So I'm not real sure what the play here is with solar. I mean, not everybody's sold on the green wave or green energy or all that sort of stuff. So that, at least here in the US, they're not. So that definitely cuts that US, pie basically in half to start with. And then when you look at it financially, it's not feasible for a good chunk of the country. Now, sure, you got places like California where you guys' energy bills are just bonkers. I don't even understand how they calculate y'all's energy bills. They're absolutely insane. It may make sense there, but I have rentals across the country. I don't own any in California, but I have rentals other places across the country, and it makes no financial sense, no matter how much incentive they give me, to put solar in. It takes like 30 something years for me to finally just break even, much less, actually start making me money or start saving me actual money. So, for me, I just don't see the play there. I don't understand it, at least not at this stage. Now, there could be a breakthrough in technology. There could be just, I don't know, more incentives that get put out in the future, something else that maybe drives this train forward. But for me right now, I don't see anything on the horizon, at least not in the next, 6 months or a year or so. That tells me, hey, these are going to pick up. These are going to start selling like hotcakes. And this is something I need to be in right now. And on to the last 2 stocks, and these are honestly usually the ones that I get blasted about the most, so I save them for last. So stock number 5 would be Lucid. You guys know it. I haven't been a fan of it for basically since it was CCIV at that stage. Just wasn't my thing. I didn't see the market there. I didn't see what all the hype was about. I just thought, hey, that's a very niche product. I just wanted Lucid to actually prove they could produce vehicles at scale before I get excited about the company themselves, and they're struggling just to do that right there. I see no problem with them going after the luxury market, going after the high-end market. Of course, in our current economic environment, it's a very, very tough environment for you to actually produce in. But nonetheless, long-term, we're going to need luxury SUV or luxury EVs. But is Lucid going to actually get there? Can they continue to pour money into this and actually figure out how to scale out this business and how to scale out their production? Those are a lot of big unknowns right now, and given everything else going on in the macro environment, for me, I see no reason to jump onto Lucid right now, because any sort of run is just simply a pump and dump hype type run, trader run, whatever you want to call it there. It's not long-term buy and hold investors coming in because they see a lot of potential there long-term. There's just too much to prove for Lucid. So for me, I'm out on this stock and I'm not interested in it. And on to the last stock here that I get some comments down every single time I talk about this stock, and that's okay. Thankfully, you guys are kind of playfully we're kind of poking and prodding each other back and forth. It's all part of the fun here. But the last stock would be AMC. I'm sorry, the $100,000 squeeze is not happening. I don't know any other reason to own this stock outside of it hopefully going on some sort of a hype, on a Wall Street bets type run. It's the only reason to maybe own this stock is some sort of a crazy trade like that. But all the people out there who are trying to make a business case for AMC, I'm sorry, there is no business case for AMC. This management team is basically a disaster. A lot of the moves they've made have just been simply baffling. They make absolutely no sense. And more importantly, as much as, I would love for AMC to thrive in regards to theaters to thrive, and we get a lot of great movies coming and a lot of other things like that, that's just not what's happening right now. The world is changing, and unfortunately, buying a gold mine is not keeping up with the change which is kind of one of the many moves that AMC has made in the past that kind of, show you exactly where that management team's at, and more importantly, shows the incompetence in that management team. So unless you're viewing this as a trade or something else like that, I want nothing to do with AMC. And remember, the biggest sale ever for my group is coming this weekend, so make sure you're on the lookout for that. If you want 5 free courses, you want to see all my buy and sells in real time, see my watch list complete with price targets, you want to use our stock analyzer tool for free, you want to jump in the best 6 and 7 and 8 figure Discord out there, you want to slide into my DMs, jump on our live Q&As. I put out 3, 4, 5 videos a week just simply for the group. There's so much in there, guys. Make sure you check out the pinned comment down there and be ready for that sale when it drops. And click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market, and click here to see my exact plan for this market. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.